Hello all of you. In operating system today, we are going to be learn a point that is one of the very important point is called as high level programming languages and the low level programming languages. Basically, high level programming languages are intended to provide a features that standardize a common task to debug, to maintain some architectural agnotism. So while these low level languages often produce more efficient code through the optimization for a specific architecture. Okay. So in the next so going moving ahead to the next, you can see how your low level languages will look like and the high level programming languages will look like. So tell me that how many of you will be understood this language of any of the program, or you will be understood this language of the any of the program. Hope so. Everybody will say, I know this kind of programming. We don't know this kind of low level programming. Okay. So basically, in a computer, in an operating system, this two languages we have to be maintain, manage, and one of it is low level, and the second one is the high level programming languages. So let's come and understood one by one what the high level programming languages are and what the low level programming languages are. Now, talking about the basic of the high level programming languages are this high level programming languages are programmer friendly languages that are manageable, very easy to understand, very easy to debug, and widely used in today's time. You can see here how this high level programming languages look like. So that's why this is widely used in today's time. Okay. So this one is our first point from high level. The second talking about basic talking about the low level is this low level languages are machine friendly languages that are very difficult to understand or very difficult to we can say understand for any human being but very easy to interpret by the machine. Means these languages are very easy to machine, these languages are easy to humans. Okay, so you can see low level languages in the previous slide. So this is the low level language. So this will be find out very easy for machine but very difficult to human being. Whereas these languages are found very easy to human being but very hard to machine. Moving ahead to the next. So how the ease of execution is. So this high level programming languages are very easy to execute, whereas these low level programming languages are very difficult to execute. Okay, now something talking about the parameter, next parameter, processes of translation, how the process of translation goes. So in a high level programming languages, it requires the use of compiler or an interpreter for their translation into the machine code, whereas low level programming languages requires an assembler for directly translating the instructions of machine language. Okay, the next point of our differentiation is efficiency of your memory. Okay, so these high level programming languages have very low memory efficiency. It means that they consume more memory than any low level programming language. Now, the memory efficiency of this low level programming languages have very high. It means that they consume less energy as compared to the high level programming languages. The next parameter for the discussion is portability. So this programming languages are portable from one device to the another device, whereas we cannot port these low level programs from any one device to the another device. Yes. Now moving ahead to this discussion with the parameter comprehensibility. So these high level languages are very human friendly. They are thus very easy to understand and learn by any programmer very easily. Whereas these low level programming languages are machine friendly, they are then very difficult to understand to any human. So, this is about the comprehensibility. Moving ahead to the next point of our discussion is dependency on machines. So, these high level programming languages do not depend on the machine, whereas these low level programming languages are machine dependent, and thus they are very difficult to understand by any normal user or human being. Now, how does debugging goes on? Okay, the next parameter will be discussion for is debugging. So these high level programming languages are very easy to debug. Okay, whereas these low level programming languages are easy to debug these languages, but programmer cannot debug it. Okay, the next point of our discussion is maintenance. High level languages are very simple and comprehensive maintenance technique, whereas this low level languages is quite complex to maintain any low level languages. Now, usage. High level languages are very common and widely used for programming in today's times, whereas low level languages are not very common nowadays for programming. Moving ahead to the other parameter, s- so execution. This point, 11th number, high level languages takes more time for execution as compared to the low level languages because this require a translation of a program. Whereas low level translation speed is very low, where, sorry, the low level languages translation speed is very high. Okay, the next parameter for discussion is abstraction. The 12th number point, high level languages allow higher abstraction, whereas low level languages allow very little abstractions or no abstractions at all. The next parameter will be need of a hardware. So this high level programming languages does not require a knowledge of hardware while writing a program, whereas a low level programming language is a prerequisite knowledge, that is a mandatory knowledge to write a programs. The next point for discussion is facilities provided. High level languages do not provide various facilities at the hardware level, whereas low level languages are very close to the hardware. That's why they help in writing the programs at the hardware levels. The next point of parameter to discuss in a differentiation is ease of modification. So once you completed to write down your whole program, how you can easily modify your program. The process of modifying the program is very difficult in the high level programs. It is because every single statement in it may execute a bunch of instructions into it. Whereas the process of modifying programs are very easy in low level programs. It can directly map the statements to the processor instructions. So here modification is very difficult, whereas here modification is very easy. Now let's uh, look at some examples of the high level programming languages. Some programming high level programming languages example include Perl, Basic, it's a language. COBOL, it's also a language. Pascal, Ruby. Whereas some examples of the low level programming languages are any machine level language or any assembly language will definitely example of your low level programming language. Thank you.